The consent machine. We live in a world of agreements. We agree to terms we do not read. We agree to debt we cannot escape. We agree to narratives that divide us. We are told this is consent, a free choice, a meeting of the minds. But what if our consent is being manufactured? Not in a back room by mustache-twirling villain, but in a factory, a silent industrial apparatus that operates day and night, humming along on the fuel of our inattention and our desire for a simple life. It's what we might call the consent machine, and its job is to systematically produce our agreement on an assembly line for the very predatory systems that profit from our passive participation. This idea finds its roots in the work of thinkers like Noam Chomsky, Edward Herman, who describe a propaganda model, a series of filters that cleans information, that shape reality before it ever reaches us. But in our century, this machine has evolved. It has become more sophisticated, more personalized, and terrifyingly efficient. It works through a series of interlocking gears and filters, each one shaping the raw material of truth into a palatable product of compliance. The first filter is ownership. Consider the megaphones of our modern society, the major news networks, the social media platforms, the entertainment conglomerates. They are not public squares. They are private property owned by vast profit-driven corporations. Their primary fiduciary duty is not to truth, not to democracy, but to shareholder value. This inherently orients them towards creating a stable, manageable, and predictable audience, not an informed and empowered citizenry. The only goal is a product that doesn't disrupt the status quo that feeds it. The second filter is the advertising license. We are not the customers of these platforms. We are the product. They are funded not by our subscriptions, but by advertisers. So they must deliver our attention, a compliant, engaged audience, to the real customers. The content, therefore, is meticulously tuned for one primary purpose: to keep our eyeballs glued to the screen. Outrage, fear, and tribal belonging are algorithms that outperform nuance and complex truth every single time. We are being farmed for our focus, and the harvest is our consent to be distracted from the underlying structures. The third filter is sourcing. Journalism is expensive. Challenging power is risky. It is cheap and efficient to simply report what powerful institutions, government agencies, corporate press releases, financial analysts have to say. It is hard and costly to investigate them, to fact check them, to provide a platform for their critics. So, the default routine voice we hear in our media diet is the voice of established power. Dissenting voices, grassroots movements, and complex analyses are filtered out by the sheer economics of the system, not by a grand conspiracy, but by the simple, crushing weight of convenience and cost. The result of these filters is not a complete lie, but a curated reality. It is a world where we are given a menu and told to choose, but we are never allowed into the kitchen to see how the food is prepared, where the ingredients are sourced. So, what are we truly being fed? We are presented with a picture of the world that feels whole, but it's a picture with entire sections deliberately cropped out, and we, hungry for understanding, are told to just order. And in the digital age, the consent machine has become automated, scaled and woven into the very fabric of our daily lives. It presents us with 30-page privacy policies that are legally and technically impossible for any one person to comprehend. And then it sanctifies our blind click as informed consent. It creates a common enemy, a political opponent, a foreign threat, a cultural boogeyman to unite us against, so we are too busy fighting each other to notice the machinery whirring behind the curtain, the one that profits from our conflict. Perhaps its most insidious and brilliant product is the illusion of choice. We are given a dizzying array of options, but they are all variations within the same confined system. The choice between this soda brand or that one, this political party or that one, this streaming service or that one. It creates the sensation of agency, while the fundamental architecture, the economic model, the power structure, the machine itself remains untouched, unexamined, and protected.
The power structure, the machine itself, remains untouched, unexamined, and protected.
We are busy rearranging the deck of chairs on a ship we didn't choose, heading to a destination we never agreed upon. So what do? How do we stop a machine that is so vast, so embedded, that it feeds on our very participation? The answer is not a revolution of anger, though anger is a valid and natural response. A sledgehammer swung at a machine this size often just breaks the hammer. The answer is a revolution of attention.
The answer is a revolution of attention.
A conscious, collective, and deliberate act of seeing. Let me repeat that.
A conscious, collective, and deliberate act of seeing.
The first, most radical step is to look directly at the gears, to trace the conveyor belts, to understand the inputs and outputs, and to simply point and say, "We see you, we name you, we understand how you work."
We see you, we name you, we understand how you work.
Once we see the machine for what it is, we can begin the vital work of withdrawing our power, our energy, and our consent from it. But this is not merely a project of protest, of saying no. That is only the first half of the sentence. The complete thought, the truly transformative act, is construction. It is about using the very tools of connection that were weaponized against us for a different, life-affirming purpose. We must reclaim the tools. We can use social media not for seeking validation through likes, but for tangible coordination. To organize a community garden, to start a local tool library, to create a neighborhood watch that actually builds safety through connection, not through fear. We can use our collective attention not to consume the latest product of outrage, but to consume information about local cooperatives, mutual aid networks, and community land trusts. This profound shift is what the philosopher Simone Weil described as moving from a state of uprooting to a state of rooting. The machine uproots us. It tears us from our communities, turns us into isolated data points and consumers, alienated from the land, from each other, and from our own power. Rooting, in contrast, is the most important need of the human soul. It is the active, natural, and meaningful participation in the life of a community. It is the process of becoming a part of an ecosystem rather than a resource to be extracted from it. This is where we move from theory to practice. We build parallel systems that operate on a different logic. We create community land trusts that take housing out of the speculative market and place it in the hands of the community, ensuring homes remain affordable and rooted in stewardship, not profit. We weave local food networks that connect us directly with the people who grow our food, breaking the stranglehold of an industrial agricultural system that poisons our soil and our bodies. We initiate tool libraries and skill shares that create an economy of mutual aid, where our wealth is measured in shared resources and empowered neighbors, not in predatory debt and isolated accumulation. We are not trying to break the machine with a sledgehammer. We are making it obsolete by building a garden in its place. We are replacing the manufactured consent for our own exploitation with a cultivated conscience consent for our own mutual support. We are withdrawing our energy from the old extractive system and investing it minute by minute, action by action, into a new life-sustaining system. The consent machine is powerful, but it has one critical weakness. It requires our participation to function. It requires us to feel alone, overwhelmed, and powerless. It thrives on our isolation. Therefore, the ultimate act of resistance is to come together, to pay attention together, to build together. When we do this, we are doing more than just refusing the old predatory agreement. We are physically writing a new one with our hands, our time, and our care. We are forging a new covenant built not on predation but on protection, not on extraction but on care, not on fear but on shared fate. The machine is powerful, but our collective conscience and chosen consent to support one another, to nourish our communities, and to steward our world, that is a power that no machine can ever replicate, control, or overcome. The machine is broken when we refuse to be its parts. Let us build something that truly nourishes us.